Hello everybody! My name is Tess Conley and I'm the Activities Coordinator at the Beverly Council on Aging, and today I am here to walk you through the steps of making the blueberry bread that was featured in our newsletter on page 5. So go ahead, open up to your recipe and we can get going. So the first thing that you're going to do when you're baking anything at all is get your oven hot. So we're going to preheat our oven to 375 degrees. Once that's done, we can get our pan ready. So I'm using a 9x5 loaf pan, but this recipe will also work with an 8x8 square or a 9x9 square. You might just get a thinner cake, and you'll want to pay attention to your cooking times. First, we're going to grease and flour our pan. So I'm going to take a little bit of shortening in my pan, and I'm just going to make sure that I cover every inch of it. If you're using a square cake pan, you want to be really careful and make sure you get your corners really well, or else your cake will stick. Then we're going to take a little bit of flour and put it in, and we're going to bang it around so it covers all of your shortening. Perfect, so your pan is now greased and floured and nothing's going to stick to it, except for memories. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our crumb topping. So we are going to combine a half a cup of sugar, a third cup of flour, a quarter cup of butter, and half a teaspoon of cinnamon. So I have those all in the bowl. And I'm going to put my gloves on because I don't like to have greasy hands. So we are going to combine everything in the bowl, and we're really going to smush our butter. I'm using room temperature butter. You don't want to melt it and you don't want it too cold because you really want to be able to incorporate it into your flour and your sugar. So we're going to mix it up until it's a coarse, sand-like texture and consistency. So it takes a couple of minutes, there's no rush. I'm using room temperature butter because it definitely helps to blend better with the flour and the sugar. If your butter is too cold, you'll end up getting big chunks of butter throughout your topping, and that's not something you want. So we're going to combine our dry ingredients. In this bowl, I have 2 cups of flour, 2.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and 3/4 teaspoons of salt. If you have a sifter, you can put all of your dry ingredients over the sifter and sift them together. If you don't have a sifter like me, you can use a whisk, or a fork, or a spoon really. All we're trying to do here is incorporate all of our ingredients evenly throughout our batter and break up any lumps you might have in your flour. So just give it a little mix and put it aside. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start to build our batter. If you have a stand or an electric mixer, now's a great time to use it. If you don't, I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really easy. We're just going to use a whisk and a little bit of elbow grease. In this bowl, I have 3/4 cups of sugar and a 1/4 cup of shortening. And I'm just going to combine them until they're kind of a light, fluffy texture and consistency and totally mixed together. Now that our shortening is combined with our sugar, we are going to add 1 egg. I've been really looking forward to that. Mix that in. Make sure you're scraping down the sides of your bowls so everything is getting evenly incorporated into your batter. Now we are going to add, while mixing, 3/4 cups of milk. Alright, by now your batter should be looking pretty liquidy, but that's perfect. That's exactly how you want it to be. And we can start to incorporate our dry ingredients. So here they are, remember them? Our old friends. So especially if you're using an electric or a stand mixer, I recommend adding these in smaller batches or else you're going to make a big mess. So I'm going to start with about half of the mixture. And I'm going to get the flour incorporated. You only want to mix until it's combined. If you overmix, you'll develop too much gluten in your bread and you won't have that nice open texture that we're looking for. It'll be chewier. That's not what we want. Right. Now I'm going to come in with my rubber spatula. I'm going to make sure that all of the ingredients have gone into the mixture. Now that all of our dry ingredients are mixed in, you should have a nice thick batter that's going to hold up your blueberries. This is the support system here. you're going to take a pint of blueberries, it's 2 dry cups. They're perfect. You should always taste one just to make sure. And we're going to pour them in. And gently fold them into your batter. You want to try not to burst too many open. Try and keep them as whole as possible and mix them in so they're evenly dispersed throughout. Okay. Now that your blueberries are in, they're ready to go into their little home pan. Now that it's in the pan, we can sprinkle the crumb topping on. And you can be as light or as generous with this as you'd like. This is totally up to you. I like to put it all on because I love crumb topping. And now the hardest part is here, waiting. Your bread will bake in the oven for about 55 to 60 minutes or until a toothpick comes out clean. All right, now that our bread is out of the oven, let's cut it open. Now that you know how to make this bread, you can cut a slice and enjoy it in the sunshine, or you can brag about it to your friends on Facebook. Thank you so much for taking the time to bake with us today. My name is Tess, I'm the Activities Coordinator at the Beverly Council on Aging. If you need anything at all, feel free to call us at 978-921-6017. Enjoy your baking!